We're gonna do a mid-skin fade. We're gonna leave a little bit of the wave on top. We're starting out by using the Oster Volt. I was experimenting a little bit with my Andis Slimline Pro Li that I modded, and if you haven't seen that video, go ahead, look back a couple videos and check that out. And I'm rocking and rolling right on forward with my Bronze Series 9, which allows me to eliminate gigantic amounts of hair in record-breaking time, a lot faster than the Wall Finale, faster than the Wall 5-star electric shaver, and definitely faster than the junk produced by Andis. We are going to make sure that when we get up to that line where I set with the 5-0 or the trimmer if you don't have a 5-0, and we're going to make sure that we don't make an additional line by running that straight into that line. We want to stop just below that and begin reducing our tension, moving back and forth, and easing that in so that line, electric shaver and the 5-0 are smooth as a kitten, a wallaby, a chinchilla, smooth as a, oh, just playing. I don't know if you guys can see this box. There's a lot of hair equipment in it. And that's not even the full extent of it. I mean, I have more stuff that I just don't use. And I think it's time to start getting rid of this stuff. You're probably gonna wanna click subscribe. You're probably gonna wanna stick around and probably try to enter one of my contests and maybe win some of the stuff that I give away on this channel regularly. But anyways, yeah, so we're cutting the top right now. I'm going with the grain. I got a 1 on, I got it open, and the whole point of this is I want to preserve some of that wave. Of course, if I would have cut it against the grain, probably the majority of the wave would have been gone, or not enough of it would have been left over for me to work with at the end and get that look that I wanted to get. So we're just following the contour of the head and making sure that you get all that hair, and also try to make sure that you're staying with the grain, especially in this collet region. If you wind up going against the grain, you could run into trouble. You could create a bald spot, and you don't want to do that. Who wants to make bald spots, right? So let's be careful, make sure we stay with the grain, and we're gonna take down that hair the way we want to. We're out here with the Fade Beast, the fast feeds, the machine that knows no bounds and can take out any line you can imagine. And we are beginning with it open, in the open position. If you're really struggling getting out some of these skin lines, I think it's possible, it might help you to look at some of my other videos, but I'm going to touch on this briefly. Of course, we're starting with it all the way open. If you'd like, I could put in the fade scale. Why don't I do that real quick? And if you need to, just go ahead and screenshot that, and you can see exactly what you do on the in-between steps. So on this in-between step, I set a guideline up here, and I have my other line down here. I want this line gone, right? But I got to work my way through that. So I begin with the lever entirely open at the very top. As soon as I begin closing it, I stay a little bit lower. As soon as I begin closing it, I stay a little bit lower. And I will continue doing this until it is fully closed and that line that I had at the bottom is out of here. So as soon as that line's gone, we're good to go. And then we can go on to our next step. But it's so important that you build this like a foundation that's strong. A strong foundation. So that when you go to the next step, it means that your previous step was completed. Put my hat on the right way, and we're gonna get into this thing so I can get real serious about this. Like I always say, I step back before I go forward. I went back to the trimmer. Now I'm jumping ahead and I'm going back with the fast feeds. I currently have the zero guard on there that I plan on using. I want to preserve some of that dark area above the parietal ridge. So I'm just testing the waters here. I have it closed. I'm going with the grain, and I just want to see what kind of effect that has on the area that I'm working on. Then I just want to see what that does with the shadow. Once I've sort of tested the waters, I know it's safe to go ahead, open that thing up, and begin my process again. Open them up here, closing a little bit down, closing them a little bit down, closing, I'm a little bit lower. So open them up here, close it, I'm a little bit lower. Just close it a little bit. Stay lower, close it a little more, stay lower, close it a little more, stay lower. It's the same thing over and over again. So you know, you start it with the open taper, then you do it with the 0, then you do it with the 1, If you're working with the wall, then you do it with the 1 1/2. Then you do it with the 2 if you have to. You do what you got to do to get this done. And trust me, it works properly because all these lengths line up good together. So let's remember that we're keeping it flat, not flat or flat. Alright? Flat is actually going to be here, right? So if your blade's got a bend in it, be sure that you're taking that into consideration when you lay it up against the head. Now, I'm not saying you can't do the C motion or any of these fancy tricks when you get good. Of course you can. But if you're struggling, that's what this is kind of for, right? I'm trying to help you out. If you're struggling, I want you to, I want you to look at this and, maybe it helps, maybe it don't. Maybe you look at one of my other videos. I don't know. Hey. So we're doing the exact same thing on the other side. As I begin to work up this head, I'm just being careful. I want you to be careful too. What I mean by being careful is, let's talk about shadows for a second. Before you go in and start chasing shadows and you're not sure what's going to remove what shadow, I want you guys to consider this option. Let's start with a guard that's a little bit longer than what you might think will get it out. So this is, of course, if you get disorganized, if you're not building on a solid foundation. If you find yourself on step 4 when step 3 and step 2 are not even done yet. So this is usually when you run into shadow work problem. Let's say that you got the problem. Who cares how you got there? You got the issues, you got shadows around there, and you got to try to figure out what guard it's going to take to get them out. Now, because you sort of went out of order, you have to consider what it's going to take to get rid of that. So if you think that it's going to come out, if you think that the line you're working on, it needs the open taper to get rid of it, well, that might not be the case, okay? You might be able to get that out with an open 0 guard. So let's give ourselves that extra leeway, maybe even go to the 1 closed and see what that does to it, all right? So give yourself that extra leeway, especially in the beginning, especially when you're new, all right? So you give yourself that extra little bit of chance to run into a little issue. You give yourself that chance, you give yourself that space, and then guess what? What's the worst that happens if the 1 doesn't take it out? You take it off, you put the 0 on, you open it up, see if that does it. That doesn't do it, you close that 0 down, see if that does it. That doesn't do it, go to your open taper. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to do this real careful, real smooth, and you're gonna run into less troubles when you're running around chasing them shadows. Another quick thing about the shadows is the shadow monster. I had to tell my son the other day, they're not real. The other thing about shadows is if you keep your clipper on an angle, and if you keep your corner just touching down, so you're not holding it flat up against the head when you go into these shadows, you might wanna try to hold this just so that you're touching it with 1 corner or half the guard, but trying to keep it sideways so that you alleviate the potential for any other lines being created when you're working on this. A quick word for those who might not know, any movements you make with the grain will take less hair than that same exact step being against the grain. Meaning that if I take this up and against the grain, or if I take this with the grain is going to leave me more hair, and against the grain is going to take more hair. So you might even use that to your advantage in certain circumstances where you feel like you need a length that maybe you don't have, even though, trust me, you got all the lengths you need. We're gonna go ahead and finish this up. I'm gonna let you guys rock out to some more music. The fast feed competition, the fast feed contest is, at this moment, is not concluded, but probably by the time this uploads, it will be very close to being completed, and I will be giving a shout out to the winner in the Instagram and on the YouTube channel in my follow-up video. So thank you guys to all who participated. I'm sorry for those who didn't win. Not everybody could win, and I really appreciate you guys checking out my channel and stopping in and talking with me, and that's just awesome. And I'm trying to get back to each and every one of you guys. I care about everyone's opinion, and I care about what you have to say. So please leave me a comment. If you're struggling with something, just let me know. You can hit me up on IG or hit me up on YouTube. Leave a comment on one of the videos, and I'm trying to do my best to get back to each and every one of you. So, and a big thank you to everybody. I got over 12,000 subscribers. That's kind of what I was shooting for next Tuesday, and I've exceeded it. So it's just awesome, man, to see this growth like this. We've gotten like 3,000 subscribers in the past month and some change. So just awesome to see this kind of growth going with the channel. So I guess maybe some of you guys are liking what I'm doing. I appreciate it because I like what I'm doing too. So, and now a word from our sponsors. We don't have any sponsors, okay? This is just me trying to make a difference. I make all the videos, I edit them, I shoot them, I film them. I got all the cameras, the equipment, computers, and it's all very expensive to make these YouTube videos. Okay, anybody who's interested in checking out some of the tools that I use, like this is my total favorite setup. It's battle tested. I've used it for many years. Most of the stuff here has been here for a long time and it works excellent. Go ahead and click that link in the drop down below and you can check those out. And I finally got some merch up on the channel, and if you decide to scoop one, it really helps the channel out. If this channel helps you out and you want to support it and you want to see more of it, anything you do like that will really help me out. And also I want to do more product giveaways and stuff like that, but it's expensive, and I left a link to my PayPal down below. If you guys kick in a little donation, we're gonna start getting in some of this. I can start giving away more clippers and I can start doing some more things. You find it in your heart to throw even just as little as $1 or $2, it could go a long way to getting some of these clippers in some of these people's hands that might need them, and I can continue to do this for more people.